and make some different mindset. Okay. And make some different We're gonna redo this. Here we go. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 15 different mindset shifts that I made in order to have success with weight loss. If you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get started. For most of my life, I've struggled with my weight. I've wanted to lose weight and tried so many different methods and never had success until 2020 when I did things a little bit differently. And a huge reason that I finally had success this time around versus so many times in the past when I had attempted was because I finally made a change to my mindset and started to prioritize my mental health. And so much so that it is literally on a poster across the US at all of the Weight Watchers studios. I'll put a picture up, but when I started Weight Watchers in 2020, that was one of the most important things I did. Of course, I focused on tracking food and portion sizes, and then I started to incorporate exercise. But all along the way, my mindset and my mental health were huge and played a huge factor in finally being able to have some success. I did have success losing 70 pounds in a year on Weight Watchers. I was able to share my story and go to New York where I was able to do a photo shoot with them. My husband and I both went, and because of it, that's why my picture is on a poster in the Weight Watchers studios now. So with that poster though, it does have the quote that I said about mindset and how it really did change my life for me. So today I'm going to be going into detail about 15 different things. I know 15 sounds like a lot, but I'm hoping that even a couple can be helpful to you if you're looking for maybe some change on your journey and you're struggling to have results. Maybe there are some of these things that can help you, and just one or two of them being applied to your life could make a huge difference. Honestly, all of these have made such a big difference for me and have changed my life for the better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through them and talk about my experience with my weight loss journey, how I lost 70 pounds and maintained that loss for years. Right now I'm technically back in weight loss mode. If you guys follow me, I've been back to tracking and weight loss just to kind of see some of the muscle that I've built, because for a long time I was really just focusing on maintenance and building muscle. And before we get started, I also did want to say that today is World Mental Health Day. That's why I wanted to post this video today, because mental health is so important. It is not something that should be neglected or avoided, and it is something that I needed to take care of for my weight loss journey, but also just my overall health journey. And I really just want to always talk about how important it really is. So I thought it would be good to post this video today and just talk a little bit more about the different things that have helped me mentally, emotionally, and just with my mindset in general. So the first thing that I want to get started with is probably the most important, I would say, for me, for so many different aspects of my life, but especially weight loss, and that was getting rid of the all or nothing mentality. Because for so long, I thought that I had to be perfect with what I did. I thought that I had to eat raw vegetables and chicken breast every day and do crazy exercises with just like burpees and running. Like, I thought that that was the only way that I was going to have success losing weight. And to some extent, I used to run a lot. I actually, when I graduated college, made Adam and I sign up for a half marathon, and it was awful, but we forced ourselves to do it because that's what I was thinking I needed to do to have success. I thought I had to like go all in and make these huge changes that were never sustainable for me. So when I realized that all or nothing is not a healthy way to think about it, and that even like 1% change each day can add up to huge results, if you think about it, it really does over time add up. And that's the mentality I started to have. And I started to realize that something as little as like measuring my cheese for my meals each day, it really did start to open my eyes to how much I was adding extra calories and stuff because I wasn't taking that extra step. And it was that one little change that didn't seem like much that actually cut out a lot of calories every day for me. And so all these little changes that I started to make actually added up to really big results. So I didn't have to make some crazy change where I just cut out cheese completely. I could just kind of watch my portion size and make sure I'm doing it correctly. And that little change added up to really big results. So getting rid of that all or nothing mentality, because then you think that you have one little slip up and you lose all of your results, or that you messed up. Then I would just resort back to my old habits of binging and just completely going the opposite way because I thought that I had failed, and I figured, what's the point now? So getting rid of all or nothing mentality is probably the biggest thing that really made a difference for me this time around, because I realized I didn't have to make these crazy restrictive changes that I couldn't sustain. I could just make little efforts each day and they would actually get me really far. The next shift that I want to talk about is believing that you can. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, but for so long I thought that I just wasn't wasn't the person that was going to have success losing weight and having a healthy, fit body. I thought that I wasn't capable of it. I thought that I didn't deserve to. I just had all these negative thoughts that led me to think that I was never going to be able to lose weight or be happy with my health. And when I finally just started to kind of like manifest and in a way fake it till I made it and start to think like, you know what? Other people can do this. Why can't I do this? And part of that was going onto Instagram and seeing other transformation pictures with people with similar body types to mine and realizing, okay, they did it. They started at my starting point and they were able to turn their life around and do it. And that kind of started to motivate me in a way that it hadn't before, because I started to think of myself as those people and think like, okay, maybe if I do some of the things they do, I can start to see results, and then it will just like domino effect. And that's exactly what did happen. Believing in myself, even if I had to fake it till I made it in the beginning, but believing that I could, I feel like it made the actions come to life. And I think that that's so important to do and to believe in yourself along the way. So that was a mindset shift that I made that also really helped me out. Another shift that I made, and this was kind of like my why for weight loss. This is why I finally did it this time around. And again, why I had success. And part of it was because of a quote I saw, which was, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. And that quote really stuck with me. And I think that is what shifted my thoughts about this, because I stopped worrying so much about what people thought. That was never enough to get me to actually commit to losing weight. Like when I lose weight, I would think like, okay, I want to be thinner. And then I never stuck to it because that just like wasn't enough of a motivation for me. But this time around, I started thinking about my health instead and thinking about my future and thinking, okay, what if I am starting to develop diabetes? I have high blood pressure. I started feeling numbness in my toes and it really started scaring me. I started thinking, how am I going to pay for medical bills? And all of these thoughts really started to panic me. So I started to switch my thoughts from the reason I was losing weight to be about my health and just living a longer, healthier life instead of how I looked and what other people thought of me. And when I made that switch, I think that was like the biggest thing for me that allowed me to actually make these choices and stay motivated with them, because I cared about my future. I cared about feeling better, and I was scared to go to the doctor, and I was scared of where I was going if I continued down the path I was. The fourth mindset shift that I made was that I actually deserved to take care of myself and to lose weight. And this one's kind of a hard one to explain because it sounds ridiculous. Like, why would I think that I didn't deserve to? But in my head and in the current state I was in, I just felt so helpless. I felt like it didn't matter if I took care of myself. I thought I was too far gone. I just didn't think that I deserved to take care of myself. It's so weird to like say out loud now, because of course everyone should take care of themselves and make that their priority. But for some reason, I just didn't think that way. And I just thought like, whatever, I'll keep doing for others. And I feel like that's also what got me stuck in that position with my work and everything, is I was just trying to people please everyone and just didn't want to worry about myself because I just didn't think I deserved to. And I was like, whatever, I'll keep doing for others. And when I finally started to realize like, okay, you know what? I'm hitting my breaking point. I can't do for others anymore if I don't take care of myself, because I'm killing myself. I was slowly destroying my body with the choices I was making. And I realized, okay, maybe I do deserve to take a step back and do some things for myself. Maybe I do deserve to get outside when I want to, because that was one thing that was really hard for me during that time when I was working so much, was like working in the summer all day and being stuck inside and not being able to go outside and enjoy it. Like that really crushed me. So I started to prioritize doing little things like that, going outside for a little bit each day or something. Like these little things that I didn't think I deserved before, I started to do them and realized how good it felt and how much better I could be of a person if I took care of myself first. So realizing I deserved it and ending that like negative talk I had to myself thinking that other people did and I didn't, that really helped me to have success. Okay, the next one kind of goes along with the first one, being all or nothing, but it's just that consistency is more important than perfection. And I learned how important consistency was. I feel like I knew that word before I started my weight loss journey, but I never thought about what it actually meant. And then I decided to reward myself for being consistent, because I thought maybe that could make a difference. Maybe just tracking every single day for 30 days, instead of worrying about losing 20 pounds in 30 days, like some unrealistic goals I would set for myself, doing something realistic and that was focused on consistency, I thought that maybe that would make a change, and it did. And that's what allowed me to have success. And it's funny because the thing that made me even think about it in the first place was my 5th grade class. We used to have this thing called Homework Heroes, and we had to just do our homework every day, and every day you did, when you hit a certain streak, you got a reward. And it was just like that mindset I was thinking thinking about and how that actually helped me, because taking it a day at a time and just like a little thing at a time, tracking each meal each day, which it is an overwhelming task when you think about tracking 30 days of food, but when you do it each meal and each day at a time, and it is beneficial, it really can add up to big results. So focusing on not some crazy goals and just doing the little steps each day and being consistent with them was also what led me to actually have consistent and sustainable results over time. It helped me to learn to have balance, because I learned that if I kept up with my consistent healthy habits, I could also enjoy the other things that I wanted to in moderation. And now I've created a routine for myself with healthy habits that are easier for me to stay consistent with, because I've made them part of my routine and made them the things I enjoy and that work for me. And doing that each day allows me to have balance with enjoying treats that I like, or enjoying a day off and just having a movie day or something, like stuff like that. Realizing that I can do that and have balance, and that consistency is more important than perfection, definitely took a weight off my shoulder and changed things for me this time around. The sixth mindset shift that I'd made was to stop being so negative about weight loss and make it a positive and fun thing. And again, that sounds kind of cliche, but it really did help us out this time around. And when I say us, I mean my husband and I, because we really wanted to make it something that was positive, because we knew that if we did, it would be easier for us to stick to. And again, it worked. We tried to make things fun with Weight Watchers, with like the point system. And first of all, when we first got the app, we scanned all of the meals that we used to eat and realized how many points we used to eat in a day. And we would eat 100 in a meal, even though we had technically like 30 in a day. But it was just really eye-opening to us, and it kind of made it fun for us to try to find new lower point options and stuff to like stick within our points. So we made it fun when we went to the grocery store trying to find new things. We've also made it fun trying to get new movement and activity, finding new things to do like tennis, pickleball, bowling, going for walks, just different stuff that gets us moving and is fun and positive and not always so negative, like, oh, I have to track my food, oh, I have to eat vegetables today. Like, I feel like there is such a negative mentality around like healthy eating sometimes, and that it has to be restrictive, and it doesn't have to be that way. It can make you feel good and make you have balance and allow you to live the life you want to live healthily. So I think when we started to be more positive and fun about it, it was a lot different than in the past when we'd be like, oh yeah, we're dieting again, and we always felt like shame over it and stuff. Instead of making it a negative, shameful thing, we made it fun, and we still do to this day, because this is our lifestyle and this is just our day-to-day how we feel good. Okay, the seventh mindset shift that I made was being more mindful about eating. And what I mean by that is, when I first started Weight Watchers, I started tracking my food and realizing like how much mindless snacking I was doing, how many extra calories and grams of fat and everything and sugar that I was consuming in these snacks that I was having. And a lot of the time I was eating when I wasn't hungry, or when I was just bored or emotional, or it was just sitting out at work and I had walked past it and I just wanted to eat it out of habit. It became such a thing like that at work, because I worked in a bakery for a little bit where there would be just extra desserts back there, and every time I walked by I would just take a bite, take a bite. There'd be even just like gummy bears, and I would take a gummy bear. And tracking everything that I ate made me start to realize how much I did that, and it made me become more mindful about how much I ate when I wasn't hungry, how much I ate when I was emotional. It just made me start to think more and more about that, because I would think, okay, I have to go track a gummy bear now. Like, I would try to track everything as honestly as possible. So if I had something at work, I would track it. And so many times I was like, I don't want to go track that. So I just wouldn't eat it, and then I didn't need it. I just, again, was going to eat it out of boredom or just wanting to have it. So that really helped me out. And I think, again, the biggest part of that was just tracking and realizing how much. That's what's like helped me to become more mindful. It's been a challenge along the way to eat more mindfully. I try to eat slower. I try to really make my plate look filling and have filling portions in general, so that I don't feel the need to just like keep eating. But overall, just being a little bit more mindful about it and thinking it through when you're eating, if you really want it, or why you're eating it, or do you really want to track it? Like, are you really hungry right now? And sometimes it even did help me to just make better decisions, because I'd go for an unhealthy snack and then I would think, okay, I actually am hungry now, but let's have some 0-point foods and make something more filling that'll actually satisfy me and be beneficial to fueling my body. So it helped me a lot to just become more mindful, and it's something I'm still learning to do every day. Another shift that I made was I stopped feeling so much shame around food. And this is something that was also hard and came with losing losing weight, because I feel like at my heaviest, it was really hard for me, my love for food, and I just felt so much shame and embarrassment about it. And I think as I've lost weight, it has gotten easier. Like, just being honest, I feel like it has gotten easier to say how much I love food and to enjoy food the way that I always have, because I don't feel as judged as I did when I was heavier. But I do think that it is such a good mindset change to make, because there is no need to feel shame around being passionate about food and loving eating, but you can learn to do it in moderation and in a healthy way. And that's what I've learned to do over the years. I still love food, I love cooking, but it's almost made it even easier to stay on track with losing weight because I can create lower point meals. I like to take a lot of fast food meals that we like and remake them at home, getting creative and using the ingredients we like that are healthier for us. And then it makes it fun and enjoyable, and I get to eat food that I really like, and usually in bigger portion sizes, which is even better for me. So just not feeling shame around loving food and enjoying food. When I felt embarrassment around it, I feel like it just made everything so much more negative. Even if I wanted to be healthier, I felt embarrassment about that and about like healthy food. I thought that if I ate an apple, people were gonna look at me and judge me. So just feeling shame about food. We need food to fuel our body, and everybody needs it. And so many people do struggle with it, that you're not alone, and there's no need to feel shame about it. So I think that that just really helped me to feel better about the fact that I was bettering myself and that I still love food, I can still enjoy food and live a healthy lifestyle loving food. Okay, now kind of going along with feeling shame for loving food and enjoying food, the next mindset shift that I made was to stop feeling so much shame about wanting to lose weight, which I kind of mentioned before, but every time that I wanted to better myself, I kind of avoided it because I was scared to feel embarrassment about the fact that I was bigger and I wanted to lose weight. I don't know why, like I wanted to better myself and I felt so much shame about that. So sometimes I would tell people, but then if I would tell people, I would get even more embarrassed about it. And then other times if I didn't tell people, I would just not stick with it. But I just felt so much shame for wanting to lose weight, when in reality there's so many people who want to lose weight and just be healthier in general too, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing, it's a positive thing. Even if I was heavier, there was no need for me to feel embarrassed that I wanted to better myself and to live a healthier, longer life. And this time around when I started my weight loss journey, like I said in the past, I had told people and felt a lot of embarrassment, and I really wanted to hold myself accountable. So this time I didn't tell anyone other than my husband, who was also doing it with me, and then Trevor, who lives with us. But other than that, I told nobody. Even at work, they probably saw that I was eating a little bit differently, but I even tried to keep that like kind of to myself because I just didn't want people to know, because of how much I like felt weird about it in the past. And I wish that I just did it because again, I was bettering myself. There's no need to feel shame around that. And I feel like it's hard, even going on social media, you see people shaming people all the time, even when they're trying to get in the gym or lose weight and be healthier. And I think that's where a lot of those thoughts came from for me. But I've realized that it's more important to just focus on myself and my future and my health, and that there's no need to feel bad about wanting to do that. Mindset shift number 10 has to do with indulgent meals and having balance, and that is the mindset shift of just tracking and moving on instead of having guilt around enjoying higher point or higher calorie, higher sugar foods. In the past, I felt a lot of guilt after I would especially binge, but also just eat higher point meals or like takeout food. But then I would still do it, but I would still feel guilt and stress about it, which was negative, but then I would just continue doing it. But anyway, when I started my weight loss journey, that was something that in the beginning I was a little bit nervous about. Using Weight Watchers, you get weeklies for extra foods like that and like indulgent meals, and I was scared to use my weeklies because I thought I wasn't going to be successful losing weight if I did. But I started to learn over time that actually it helped me more to do that because it allowed me to have balance and enjoy the things I like in moderation. I learned that if I just track them and move on and don't waste time stressing about it or feeling guilt about it, it's actually way healthier for me that way, because then I just focus on my next choice being a good one. So say we go out for sushi for lunch, my next meal is going to be something full of lots of veggies and protein. I'm making sure to drink water throughout the day and just make healthier choices, maybe get a walk in, so that I can feel better for the fact that I had something that was higher point and indulgent, but I tracked it, I moved on, and I'm back to my healthy habits. And when I started doing that and I stopped just like feeling bad, because when I would feel bad, then I would start to think like, oh, well, I already messed up, so maybe this next meal doesn't matter. And when I have the mindset of like track and move on, then I'm back to it and I'm back to my routine and I'm able to enjoy the thing and get back to it. It just really helped me to think like, okay, I had a big burger, now I track it, I move on. I used up the weeklies and now I just have to use my point balance for the rest of the day and figure it out. And that mindset, instead of thinking like, oh, I had a burger, I guess I messed up, so now I'm gonna have something else that's higher point, obviously has helped me to get more to my goals than the latter thinking. So anyway, that is another mindset shift that I made, track and move on. The next mindset shift has to do more with working out, which when I started my weight loss journey, I wanted to focus solely on nutrition. So I did tracking for 3 months. I successfully lost weight and then decided to incorporate exercise because in the past I would always like work out to be able to eat more food. And it was just a really negative mentality that I had and mindset that just didn't work for me. So I knew that this time around, I didn't want to focus on exercise right off the bat. I wanted to focus on how I was eating. And I made that my focus for 3 months until I started to incorporate exercise. When I started rollerblading, then I rollerbladed for a couple months and then I started weightlifting. So when I did this, I really wanted my priority with exercise to be about my health and about building muscle and not about burning calories so that I could eat more, because again, that was the toxic mentality I had before that just did not help me and it became very obsessive for me. So starting to think more about exercising for muscle and to live a healthier, longer life, to have stronger bones, to have stronger joints, to just feel better and be able to do more and have better movement. Those were the reasons that I started to exercise, and not so that I could eat more. And it helped so much because it made exercise a positive thing. It wasn't something that I dreaded because again, before I would think that I could go run 6 miles and then get a shake when I would burn like 500 calories running the 6 miles and then go get a 2000 calorie shake. So it just never worked out for me that way. I didn't want it to be that way again. And instead I wanted to just focus on getting stronger and living a healthier, longer life. And that's why I chose rollerblading and weightlifting. And I'm so glad that I did. They have completely helped me to change my body and just become the healthiest version of myself. And it's because I made my focus getting stronger instead of just being able to eat more. So exercising to be strong and to build muscle instead of eating more was a huge shift that I made that allowed me to have success, because that held me back for so long in the past, especially because I was a college athlete. So even though I was overweight, I was still able to keep it a little under control because I was working out so much, but I was also eating so poorly. So now that I'm able to just focus on exercise for strength, it has really helped me. Another mindset shift that I started to think more about was working with my body instead of against it. In the past, I was doing so much to just make things harder on myself. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't getting exercise. I wasn't drinking enough water. I wasn't fueling my body with healthy foods. There were so many things. My stress levels were out of control. Like so many different things that I was not taking care of. And I realized I was just making it harder. So I started to listen to my body and to work with it instead of against it, and realized how much better I felt and how much easier it made things. And not to say things weren't hard, because I say this a lot too. Losing weight's hard, being overweight's hard. You need to choose your hard. I feel like I've seen that all over the internet, and that was one of the things that also got me started to lose weight. But it's so true, because being overweight, there were so many things I struggled with, and it was so difficult, and it felt like I just kept digging myself a hole because it was just making things harder on me to even get out of it. But when I realized that, and I realized, okay, well, this is hard, so is working out and eating healthy, but I'm gonna feel better doing it. I might as well try that. And when I realized that and I chose that hard instead, everything changed for me, and it made it so much better. And again, didn't make it easy, but it did make it easier. And it did help to start working with my body to feel good. Then mindset shift 13 is kind of similar, but that was just starting to focus on how I felt instead of the scale. So this is something that was more important to me a little bit towards the end of my weight loss when I started to plateau, but I think it's still something important to mention because I did focus on how I felt throughout my weight loss journey the entire time, and it did help me. When I did hit a plateau, it was really tough. I talk about how progress pictures helped me out a lot throughout my weight loss journey, especially when I did hit plateaus, because when that did happen, I started to think I wasn't making progress, even though I was. I was starting to push myself at the gym, and so even though the scale was staying the same or slightly going up, I was still building muscle and burning fat. And that's why I took pictures and I focused on feeling better and feeling good and seeing progress in the gym. And those things helped me to keep going, more so through like maintenance and just building muscle, but still hitting a plateau on weight loss, it's tough to get through. And when you just focus on how you're feeling and that you're still doing the right things that make you feel good, it really can help over what you see on the scale, because the scale doesn't always tell the whole story. And I'll show some pictures of different weights that I have where I was lighter in the before picture than the after, but I've put on more muscle and burn fat. And again, the number on the scale didn't matter as much when it came down to the composition of my body because now I have more muscle. So when I started to realize that, it really kind of took a weight off my shoulder, thinking about the scale and focusing so much on that number and that goal weight that I set for myself that I never actually hit, and instead just focusing on building muscle and making progress and feeling good. Mindset shift number 14 is that nothing needs to be restricted, because in the past, I used to think right off the bat, losing weight, I need to cut everything out. I need to cut out sugar, candy, carbs, everything I enjoy, cheese, ice cream, like all these things. And I always thought that I just had to cut out everything that I enjoyed in order to have success. But then when I would do that, I wanted to binge that stuff so much more because I've always struggled with binge eating disorder, emotional eating. And when I cut stuff out, I crave it even more. So I would say, okay, I'm not drinking pop, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And then I just thought about that stuff all the time until I failed, which usually would only last a week when I would cut it all out, if it even lasted that long. Honestly, I don't even think I would get to a week. But then when I would get to the day that I gave up, I would binge on all the things I restricted. So learning that I could have balance and that I didn't need to restrict certain foods, that yes, I do need to have them in moderation and focus more on portion sizes, of course, but that's just to fuel my body and be healthier, and I can still enjoy them in moderation. So when I learned that and I didn't have to restrict things, it really, really did help. Of course, if you have some dietary restrictions you need or something like that, then of course you need to cut them out. But I had none of those issues and nothing that I needed to worry about. It was more so I was cutting them out to lose weight, and it never led to success because it always led to me binging. So nothing was off the table. I didn't have to restrict anything. To this day, I still enjoy all my favorite foods in moderation. Okay, then the last mindset shift that I made was another one that is just so important, and that is that this is for life. This is the long haul, not a short deadline. So for all the times that I used to go into Google and search how to lose 50 pounds in a month, how to lose 50 pounds, how to lose this quickly, how to lose it by this, like I was always trying to find a deadline. I had a wedding coming up, I had this coming up. I always had something I was trying to lose weight for, and those deadlines, I never got to them. I never had success because it became restrictive, it became unrealistic, and it was not sustainable. So when I started to think, okay, this is for life, this is for my health, this is for my future, I need to be in for the long haul, I need to do this right now and do the things that are sustainable, the things that I can stick with, not cutting everything out, not the things that make me resort to my old ways. So when I started to think more about this being a lifestyle, being sustainable, and realizing the time's gonna pass no matter what, like we are going to live our life, the time's gonna pass. So I might as well start making these healthy changes now because it will start to add up as the time passes instead of going down the wrong way that I was. And thinking about it that way really did help me to realize that this is how I make it sustainable. This is how I stick with it for life. And that's what I have been able to do since I started in 2020. So that was a lot, way more than I expected. I wanted to keep this super short, but I figured with 15 tips, it would be a lot. But I really hope that you guys can find something helpful from this video that can help you shift your mind to have success with your health or weight loss journey. These are just some of the things that helped me the most with mine and improving my mindset. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.